And welcome to another episode of Easy Do-It-Yourself Craft. In today's video we are crafting the Master Sword Sanctuary inspired by the game Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The first thing you will need is some piece of XPS foam. In my country you will find it in green. I know that in other countries it can be pink. It's just some stuff that is used to isolate homes. Next you will need some piece of cardboard. Next you will need some super glue. In order to cut the XPS foam, you will either need a good knife or a hot wire. For this specific build, it will be far more easier with a hot wire, but you can manage it with a good knife and different size of XPS foam. A piece of foil paper. For the paint, one shade of gray and one shade of white will be sufficient. Of course, you will need some kind of brush. It will not be super precise painting, so honestly, anything you have will do the trick. And finally, not mandatory, but you might want to use some static grass. If you do so, you will also need some tacky glue. For the shade, you can buy some already made for you, like the one of Citadel or the one of Army Painter, but you can also easily do it yourself. Here I have mixed some water, so now I will use my knife and I added a bit of dish soap. Again, nothing really precise, just do your own mix and try to have the same consistency as I have in the video. So the first step will be to cut an equilateral triangle. Each side will be approximately 5 inches. So the piece of XPS foam I used, as you will see, has a thickness of approximately 1 inch. And as you will see, I will cut approximately 1/5 of this piece in order to get two triangles of the same side but of different thickness. And now I will cut approximately 3/4 of an inch of the thinner triangle. And now I will bevel the edges of both triangles. In order to do that, you can either use your hot wire table the way I will show you just after, but it's also possible to do it with a knife. And now we'll do the exact same thing for the bigger triangle. Be careful if you use a hot wire table, you will need to slightly adjust while you do the cut. And now with the cardboard, I will cut a triangle of approximately 9 inches. For the pedestal of the sword, I will redo some triangle with XPS foam. This time the side will be 1 inch. For the next step, I will take a rectangular piece of XPS foam and I will carve some stone out of it. So here I'm just trying to see if the block can fit properly, and I notice that they are a bit long for what I need. So here I will simply recut them until they can fit properly. Here it's much better. So in the middle of each side we will have some kind of stairs, and in the opposite side we will have some bigger rock. So now I will make some cuts into the block in order to make it look like a stone.
Hey, listen!
So guys, here please be really careful, always cut with your knife with the blade going away from you. When you are done with your stone block, don't forget to use your foil paper to apply some texture on it. Now you will see that I'm crafting some steps for the stairs. It will be exactly the same principle as the block, it's just a bit less thicker. So here I'm just making some additional steps. And now I will simply glue everything together. While it's drying, don't forget to apply some weight on it. And here is how it looks like when everything is glued together. You will notice that on each side of the triangle I've made some additional rock a bit higher than the other. In the meantime, you will notice that I've made a hole in the pedestal in order to be able to slide a sword into it. So now that our build is ready, we just have to paint it. It will be super easy. We'll start with a basic layer of gray. Guys, while you paint, be super careful to not apply too much paint on the cardboard because it will tend to bend when you have too much paint on it. So that's how it looks like after the first layer of gray. And now after a second layer of gray. In the next step, we'll use the wash that we have previously prepared. Depending on the looks that you need, you can either simply apply it and leave it to dry, or you can remove the excess with a paper towel. Here you will see that I will remove the excess because I would like this build to not be too dark. Here you will see that we have only done the center triangle, and you can clearly see the difference with the outside stone and see that the shade really make a great impact on the build. So as soon as you are happy with the look of the shading, you can apply it everywhere on the build. And this is the current result after the shading. And now to finalize the painting, we'll apply a different layer of dry brush. So as you might have seen in my previous video, dry brushing is simply putting some paint on your brush and removing the excess with a paper towel. The idea is to really apply some paint only on the higher level of your build and not in the recess. So in order to do that, we'll apply different layer of gray. Each time it will be lighter and lighter, and we'll apply less paint and less paint for each layer. So to get the different shade of gray that we will need, you can simply mix some white. For each layer, you will apply more and more white, and it will get a lighter gray each time. Of course, if you have the possibility, it's always easier to simply buy different shade of gray, but it's a bit less fun. During this process, you will see that I'm using a cardboard plate. It's simply to make sure to keep a reference of the shade of gray that I've used. And if I'm quick enough, I can simply add white in the previous layer of paint and remix it in order to use it. Here you can see the result after the first layer of light gray. Here you can see the result after an additional layer of lighter gray. And you can repeat this process as much as you want. Just make sure to remove more and more paint before applying the next layer. And here guys you have the final result after 4 layers of dry brushing. And now we get to the final step of our build, which is applying some flocking on it. Here you will see that I'm using some recipient. It's just to collect the excess flocking and not make a mess everywhere. So now in order to apply the flocking, I will use some tacky glue with some water, and I will use a brush in order to apply it correctly in all the recesses. And that's the final result after the flocking has been applied. So now you can stop there, or if you want you can have an older look by applying another type of flocking but with smaller touch. In order to get this result, I will directly mix the tacky glue with the flocking. You will see that it's a bit tedious to apply, but it's really worth it. Et voilà, this is the final result. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't hesitate to like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to support my channel, I have put an Etsy link in the description in which you will be able to buy every build I have made on this channel. See you next time.